geldiniz. Bu dönemin son webinar toplantısı bir ekip çalışması yürütüldü. Taceddin Hoca'nın önderliğinde Gönül Hanım, Mehmet, ben, Mesrullah, pardon, o dokuzun genel hakkı. Ciddi bir emek var, sizlerin emeği var. Gün dönemi son toplantısı. Daha sonra değerlendirip önümüzdeki dönemde biraz daha içerikli biçim açısından farklı bir dille webinarları sürdüreceğiz. Son toplantıyı da sağ olsun sevgili Ferhat ve Pinar Okyay önerdiler. Halk Sağlığı asistanları için Avrupa Halk Sağlığı Asistanları Birliği'nin tanıtımını yapalım ve uluslararası bir ağ bizim de katılımımızı sağlayalım istediler. Çok severek kabul ettik elbette. Ben kısaca Ferhat'ı, gerçi katılanların hemen hepsi tanıyor ama kısaca size tanıtayım. Arkasından sevgili Alberto'yu tanıtması için bu konu moderatörümüz Dr. Ferhat Yıldız'a devredeceğim ve ben izleyici olarak devam edeceğim. Ferhat 89 Kayseri doğumlu, ilk öğrenimini Kayseri'de yapıyor. Arkasından Marmara Üniversitesi Tıp Fakültesi bölümüne 2007'de gidiyor ve onur derecesiyle mezun oluyor. Bir genel cerrahi deneyimi var. Ondan sonra yeniden yerleştirmeyle bir dakika Halk Sağliği kararını veriyor. Aydın Adnan Menderes Üniversitesi'ne başlıyor. Bizimle tanışmamız o vasıtayla oldu. 2017'den bu yana HASUDER araştırma görevlileri çalışma grubu temsilciliğini yürütüyor sevgili Ferhat. 3. yıl asistanı Adnan Menderes'te. Çok renkli yönleri var. Onları uzatmadan hemen söyleyeyim. Tango yapıyor. Aşçı yardımcılığı, pastacı çıraklığı yapıyor ve bunları belgelendirmiş. Gezmeyi seviyor. Çok sayıda uluslararası ilişkisi var. Mezuniyet sonrası doktora yapmayı ve arkasından da uluslararası alanda halk sağlığı olarak çalışmayı düşünüyor. Çok teşekkürler sevgili Serhat ve sevgili Alberto. The floor is yours, guys.
Thank you, dear Alp Ergor. I will give you a brief information about program. I will introduce you Alberto Mateo, a biography first. He is a public health registrar working in Liverpool, United Kingdom. He is originally from Spain, where he studied medicine. He then moved to the United Kingdom to start public health specialization, and he is currently in his 3rd year of the training program. On his first year, he did a master's degree at the University of Liverpool. Since then, he has worked in health promotion, health protection, and academic public health. He is currently doing a placement in Spain at the National Center of Epidemiology. Besides being a public health trainee, he is also, the president of the European Network of Public Health Residents, shortly EURONET. Now, I would like to give the order to Alberto Mateo. It's your talk, Alberto.
Thank you, Ferhat, and thank you everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. So I'm very happy to talk about our network to the Turkish residents. And I just want to tell you that if you have any questions or anything, you can always interrupt me. And please also let me know if you cannot hear me well or if you want me to repeat anything, so on. So as Ferhat has said, I am so what is EURONET? So EURONET, the European Network of Public Health Residents, it's the only European network that brings together the public health residents across the different European countries. EURONET started in 2008, and it started when the French residents, who are represented by CLIS, and the Italian residents, who are represented by CITI, got together and started this network. And the reason that they started is because they thought that public health is a specialty in medicine that is not only in your country, it doesn't know borders. So they thought that exchanging knowledge across the different countries in Europe would help the residents to improve their knowledge and to have more opportunities in their work. So they started in 2008, French and Italian, and since then, well, they officially, in 2008 is when they started to talk, but it was officially founded in 2011. And since then it has grown a lot, so it has now 9 countries, and there are other countries that we have residents but are not officially part of EURONET. I will explain the difference later. So right now we have Portugal, Spain, France, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Italy, the Netherlands, Croatia, and Slovenia. So it has been growing a lot in the last years. And in EURONET, one of the most important things that we do is to meet. And although most of our work, we do it through internet, through teleconferences, we meet 3 times per year, and in those meetings we get to know each other, and we also exchange knowledge and participate in different activities. So last year, for example, we met in Strasbourg, in Motovun, Croatia, and then in Lisbon. And this year we've met in Nancy, which is a small city in France, and then we will meet in a couple of weeks in Valencia as well. So what is what we do in EURONET? So the first aim of our network is just, as the name says it, to be a network. So we aim to connect public health residents from all across Europe. We think that's a very valuable thing to do. Why? Because by having access to all the residents in other parts of the continent, you are able to compare how the public health training program works, compare how the different things that we do in public health are done. That's a very important role. For example, people use it, I don't know, for example, imagine that you are a Turkish resident and you are working on a project and you wonder, well, how is this done in other parts of Europe? How do people in other parts of Europe do it? So you can always use EURONET to ask people, and we will send that email to all the residents in Europe, and people will answer you and tell you, well, this is how we do it in France or in Italy, and this is a piece of work that I do. So that's a very valuable thing to do. Also to know people all across Europe, to increase mobility and to increase job opportunities. And related to this is the second thing that we do is to facilitate the access to internships abroad. Okay, so if you go to our website, which is www.euronetmrph.org, we have there a list of internships. So internships are places in each country that are able to accept residents from other countries. So, for example, again, if one Italian wants to spend some time abroad in their specialty, and if they can do it, because some countries allow residents to do some months outside their countries, others don't. But if they can, then we facilitate that you can go to, I don't know, a university or a hospital or other organization in other countries. So, and we also try to facilitate internships in European public health organizations. So if you go to our website, you will see the internships that we have, and we are always working to try to increase the list of available internships. So that's related to mobility when doing the residency program. And then we have working groups, and we have scientific and research projects in such working groups, which I will talk later. So in these working groups, residents from different countries work together in the same project, and we also normally use the expertise of some specialists or professors in different countries. And we also are very active in participating in international congresses and meetings. So EURONET is a good place as well to first to know about the different international, in the European context, of course, in different international conferences and congresses that are happening. It is also a good way to learn how people apply for those. So for some, for example, I don't know, scholarships for some conferences. For example, I will put an example. In October every year there is a big conference in health in Austria, in Gastein. It's called the European Health Forum Gastein. And there is a scholarship for young professionals. So since EURONET, some of us have been there, so we help people to prepare their applications. And we are very active there as well, presenting pieces of work and so on. Every year, as you probably know, there is the European Public Health Conference, which is organized by EUPA. And that's the biggest public health conference in Europe. And every year, the members of EURONET, we present workshops and we present posters there. And we work with other young professional organizations like EUPANEXT to present some workshops. So we are very active. We are very active in international congresses and meetings. Just yesterday, for example, I was speaking to the International Network for Health and Workforce Education, and they are going to do a conference in May of next year in Cyprus, in Nicosia, and they wanted to invite us to do a workshop. So we are very active in international congresses and meetings. It's a very good way to go there if that's what you like. Another of the things that we do, which is I think very important, is we compare the residency programs, because our aim is one is to improve the quality of the specialty programs, like the ones that you are doing, and our second aim is to make the training programs more similar across Europe. So we have, although I will not go into detail, but if you want to know anything about a particular country, how the residency works, I am always happy to answer questions. But we have done a lot of work comparing, for example, which training programs offer a master's, how many years you are, how do they assess whether you go through the next year, or what are the objectives or the competencies that you have to achieve during the residency to become a specialist, for example. And then after we created a very good picture, then we are working to try and promote that they are more similar across Europe, because we think it's better in terms of that equal training programs everywhere. Also in terms of mobility, no? For example, and an example is the master's degree. So some countries offer a master's degree to the residents, and some, for example, the UK or Spain, and others don't, like Italy. So that's something that we are working. So we are working, and I will talk more about it with ASPER, which is the Association of Public Health Schools in the European region, to try and create a common frame of competencies that will allow the training programs to be more standard. So, and then the last, our mission is to collaborate with other international public health stakeholders. So we have a number of partnerships that I will talk about later, but especially we want to engage a lot with the young professionals. And for that we work closely with mainly two organizations. One of them is Youth and the other is the Young Formula Staff. So, how is EURONET organized as an organization? So EURONET has a board. So the board is in charge of running the network and making the quickest decisions about things that don't need to be agreed in all the countries. So, for example, I am the president, so I am here doing this webinar. Or, for example, if we want to create a new partnership, it will be the board that will try to contact them, and then we put it to a vote at a later stage. So we have a president, myself, then we have a vice president whose main goal is to support the president, do the same thing, and then we have a secretary who is in charge of organizing all the documentation, taking minutes, doing the meeting, and the treasurer who takes care of the accounts. But all these 4 members of the board, we work very closely, and we always discuss every decision that we make. Apart from this board, we have 4 leads. So the leads are people that have an area that they organize. So we have a research lead. So this is a person who organizes and makes sure that these common projects that we have, that they are working well, and also that there are new projects, things run smoothly. Then we have an internship lead who is in charge of facilitating all these internships that I spoke about. Then we have a communication lead who is in charge of social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also of creating the newsletter, which we do three times per year, and you can find them in the website. And finally, we have a webmaster lead who takes care of our website. So this board and leads are all elected every year, and they are elected by the national commissions of the country. So what are the national commissions? The national commissions are representatives of each country in EURONET. So as I said, we have 9 countries, so in each country there is up to 6 members of each country who are representing their country in EURONET, and they vote as a country, so there is 1 vote per country, on the decisions that we make. How are they elected? They are elected, it depends on the country, but mostly democratically, because normally all the countries to be part in EURONET, they must have an organization that represents the public health clinic, like I think is HASUDER in Turkey. But for example, in Italy they have cities, so and consulta, so they elect the people at the beginning of the year who are going to be the national commission. So that's how it's, summary, this is how we organize. National commission in each country, up to 6 members, and then we all elect board and leads. One important point to make is that in order to be involved in EURONET, so in order to be part of a working group, of a research project, in order to access internships or to do any of the activities that we do, you don't need to be on a national commission. You just need to be a public health resident of a country. Anyone, any public health resident can work on anything in EURONET. The only difference between the national commissions and the rest of the people of the public health resident is that they are the ones who have the power to vote on the things about the network. So, for example, to elect a president, it is only the national commissions that can vote, not every public health resident. But to work in a research project, anyone can do it. Okay? And how do we work in a day-to-day? So we have a teleconference every month, and in that teleconference we discuss how the things are developing, our working groups, we organize the meetings, so on. So teleconferences are very important. We normally have one person representing each. Then we have Google Group with a mailing list, and that's how we also communicate all the time. And as I said, when we have to go for a new, for example, working group, new partnership or collaboration, we normally create an online survey in which national commissions can vote. And then an important point is the 3 annual meetings that we have next spring, summer. So, as I said, the meetings are very important because one thing is to speak and to be connected to teleconferences, Skype, and so on. But it is only when you meet someone face to face when those connections really strengthen, and when those working groups and research projects really start to work properly. So meetings are the most important thing. I would always encourage you, and you don't need to be in the National Commission or anything. You just need to be a public health resident to come to the meeting. So I would really encourage you, if you are interested in European public health, if you want to meet young professionals across Europe in a friendly atmosphere and with a lot of good things going on, then come to the meeting. So the next meeting, which may be too short notice for some of you, is in Valencia, but if you want to come on the 12th and 13th of July, you're welcome to come. And the next one in November will be in Ljubljana, because we take the advantage that the European Public Health Conference will be there. So we will do the meeting a couple of days after the conference. But you don't need to go to the conference to come to the meeting. So if you want, keep in touch and come to the meeting. So the working groups. So this is an important thing, because the working groups are these activities in which different people across Europe work together on the same topic. And these are the ones that we have currently, although these change quite a lot because they start and they finish. And also, you have an interest as well. So if you are like, I have this interest and I would like to do something in collaboration with public health residents across Europe, then you can propose a working group always. And you don't need, again, to be in the National Commission to propose it. You can propose it always, and then you will be in the National Commission who will vote whether we think that working group is appropriate. So right now, for example, we have public health informatics. So in public health informatics, there is a working group that is almost finishing. And by the way, so I will explain the different working groups. So if you're interested in any working group and you want to join, again, send me an email and I will put you in contact with the working group lead, and you can join any working group and participate. So working groups. So we have public health informatics. So public health informatics, we were assessing how competent and how much training in each country we get about public health informatics. This working group is almost finished because we have already done most of the work and collected the data. We are just in the analysis stage. Then we have a conflict of interest research project. So the conflict of interest research project, it is about, we are assessing whether there are conflicts of interest between the national medical societies, so you know that there are different medical societies, with the industry, so whether they receive funding from different industries, for example the pharmaceutical industry, and whether they report that in their statutes or in their websites. Then we have another working group on LGBT resident health and work environment, in which we assess the characteristics, the particular subgroup of the population. Another working group which is on burnout of public health. What we mean is that although it has been assessed in the literature very often, the burnout of people published episode.
You are now muted.
Then we have another working group on the perception towards e-cigarettes. So, as you know, e-cigarettes is being very controversial, particularly in some countries in Europe, because in public health, some people think that e-cigarettes are a tool that can be used to help people quit tobacco, that actually they should be promoted because they think that they are not harmful. And then there are other people who think that the e-cigarettes they are at risk if we promote their use, that they will be as harmful as tobacco or harmful anyway and create a lot of cancer. So what we are assessing in this study is what do public health residents across Europe think about this. So what do people, how do we perceive the e-cigarette? And the last working group that we have is the professionalization of public health workforce. So as I said before, one of our aims is to make training programs more similar. So what we are doing is we are working with ASCR and with the WHO in assessing how can we professionalize the public health workforce, how we can create a common framework of competencies that will assess how competent a person in public health is. So this is a very exciting working group that we've been working for a while. And yes, we just had a meeting last week in London about it. There is a question here, I think that can we become members only by our online application? So the answer is you can do it by online application, but you can also because normally all this communication is through the national committee. That's what the job is. The job is if someone is interested in a working group, they contact. We have an email for every country. If someone in the United Kingdom is interested, for example, they ask EURONET MRPH'n UK, for example, hey, can I join this working group? Because Turkey is not part of EURONET yet, although we hope it becomes part of EURONET. An email. So if you're interested in a working group, send me an email and I will put you in contact with that person. So these are the working groups. If you want to know anything, you can always ask, send me an email. And yes, as I said, you can even propose working groups if you have. As I said before, we are growing. We have now 9 member countries. And then we have other countries which are not officially part of EURONET, but that we have public health residents who work with us. So Malta, Poland, Bosnia, and Moldova, they all have residents who work with us. And the reason that they join as an individual, they don't join officially as a country, it is because they need to have, for you to join EURONET, for a country to join EURONET, you need to have an organization that represents the residents. So that's why I asked this to Ferhat when I told that Turkey could join country. So I told them we hope that very soon Turkey. Oh, is it not? Are you not? Can you not hear me properly?
I hear.
Can you hear me or not?
Yes, I think we can hear you, but sometimes the volume goes on and off. Could you just get a bit closer to the microphone, Alberto?
Okay, I will try to. Is this okay? Is this okay?
Yeah, that's all right. Proceed.
Okay. Okay, just let me know, and I will, because sometimes, yes, I drop my voice or whatever, so I will try to keep it up. So as I was saying, Turkey would be able to join as a country, not as an individual member, and we really look forward to it. And there will be someone coming to Valencia to present the Turkish training program to us, and everyone is quite excited about it, so looking forward to that. And as I said, there is we are growing. We have partnerships with different organizations. So these are the ones that we currently have. So we work closely with EUFA, which is the European Public Health Association, and we work with them mainly through the European Public Health Conference, the one that is going to take place in Ljubljana in November. So as I said, we always try to organize a few workshops, and then we promote EUFA amongst medical residents in public health, because EUFA is an organization that has a lot of, I would say, influence in Europe, and they have different sections on different topics. So we always try to promote. I'm myself a member of the EUFA section in nutrition, for example. So we try to promote EUFA, and we try to promote their activities through our networks. And they do the same with us. And one of the sections of EUFA is EUFA Next. So EUFA Next is a network of young professionals in public health. So a lot of people ask, so what is the difference between EUFA Next and EURONET? So the difference is mainly that in order to be part of EURONET, you need to be a resident in public health, whereas anyone who is young and they do something in public health, they can be part of EUFA Next. And we also have a closer relationship between ourselves. We have more activities that they do. But we always organize workshops with them for international congresses like the European Public Health Conference. The Young Forum Gastein is another of our partnerships. This is a very good initiative. So, as I said, in every year in October there is a European Health Forum Gastein, is called this conference. And young professionals in public health are able to apply for a scholarship to go there. So that scholarship, which is done through the Young Forum Gastein, basically funds you the travel and accommodation and everything during the conference. And after that, you are a member of this network of Young Forum Gastein. And this is a very good network because during the year, for example, they also do activities. Like, I will tell you an example. I am part of this network, and 2 weeks ago I went to Vienna to a workshop on health diplomacy, for example. This is one of the things that they organize. And they always fund this, and they always, people can always access them. And they do other things like going to the, I don't know, a couple of months ago, for example, I also went to the EMA, the European Medicines Agency in London. So it's a very good network. So these are the two networks and partnerships that we are more active with. Then we have also other partnerships with the South African Public Health Medicine Association. This is basically, and in a summary, the same that EURONET, but in South Africa, and with Child Family Health International. I forgot to put here that we also have a partnership with the Canadian Association of Public Health Residents, and we are trying to always create new partnerships with the different public health organizations across Europe. So this was more or less the summary of EURONET. And I didn't want to go into much detail about the working groups or about anything because maybe it would be too much information. And because we are always happy to answer any questions, and we're also happy to be connected and have a chat about anything. If you want to know the basic things, as Ferhat has put in the chat, that we have the website, but we also are very active on Twitter. So if you follow EURONET MRPH on Twitter, and on Facebook, we have a Facebook page in which we are very active, and in LinkedIn. But if you want to ask if you want to know anything, you can always send me an email, and I will happily answer it. And that's it. So now I would be very happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, dear Alberto. It was a nice presentation. I am appreciated. I suggested the participants to look at the EURONET website, euronetmrph.org. And shortly I want to say that this EURONET MRPH is a collaboration of countries, between countries, collaboration. And I want to tell something in Turkish with your permission.
Of course.
Arkadaşlar, yani EURONET Halk Sağlığı, Avrupa Halk Sağlığı Asistanları Birliği diye biz çevirdik Türkçe'ye. Bu birlik kısacası Avrupa'daki halk sağlığı asistanlarının birlikte çalışmasına imkan sunan, stajlar yapmasını sağlayan bir birlik. Bu ulusal komisyonlara bazı arkadaşlar takılıyorlar. Şimdi ulusal komisyonun şöyle bir yönü var sadece. Normal diğer arkadaşlardan farkı. Ulusal komisyondakiler bu uluslararası oylamalarda oy kullanıyor. Onun dışında ulusal komisyonda olmayan herkes bu çalışma gruplarına, projelere katılabilirler. Hiçbir sıkıntı yok o konuda. Ulusal komisyondakilerin sorumluluğu şu: bu yılda 3 kere düzenlenen etkinliklere, toplantılara katılma zorunluluğu var. En az bir kere olacak şekilde. Aynı zamanda her ay düzenlenen telekonferanslara da katılması gerekiyor. Bir sonraki buluşma Valencia'da, İspanya'da 11-12 Temmuz'da olacak. Ve bizden istedikleri şey Türkiye'deki halk sağlığı asistanlığı eğitimi ve Türkiye'de halk sağlığı nasıldır diye bir sunum istediler bizden, ama şu an hala gidecek birini bulamadık, ben dahil. Ondan sonraki Slovenya'da, Ljubljana'da Kasım'ın sonu Aralık'ın başında olacak toplantı. O da zaten Avrupa Halk Sağlığı konferansına denk geliyor. Bir sonraki değindiği şey, belki duymuşsunuzdur, 35 yaş altı halk sağlıkçılarla ilgili bir forum var, Young Forum diye. Duyurusunu paylaşmıştık. Bunlar katılmamızı önerdi bize. Bu şekilde benim söyleyeceklerim. Birkaç soru var. Alberto,
yes.
There are some questions you see from COU, I think it's Kocaeli University. When members complete their Republica trainees, do they quit from EURONET?
Yes, so the answer is that most people, yes. We also give the opportunity to people to stay for 1 more year after they have finished their residency, because they may have been involved in some projects. But after 1 year, yes, because this is only for public health residents, are not for public health specialists. So you can stay for 1 year, but not more than that. Okay. So Alp is also asking about the EURONET and ASFER connection. So with ASFER we have a close relationship because we've met a lot of times, and we have a group's communication with the director, Robert Otok, And we are working with them. So there are two types of connections. First of all, one member of EURONET is a member also of the executive board of ASFER. So one of our residents in this year is Damir Ivankovic. This is something that happened only a few months ago. He's a member of ASFER's executive board. And then ASFER is working with the WHO in trying to create a framework of competencies that a public health, not only a public health resident, but anyone working in public health should aim to have. So when they draft these types of documents, they always send them to EURONET, and we have a working group in which we look at the documents and we comment on it so that they amend it as we think it is necessary. That from a young professional perspective, the things that are needed to become a public health specialist, and we have input on those three and on those areas that they have. It is difficult for me to now to explain in much more detail, but I can send information over if needed. So basically, as I said, ASFER wants to create a core framework of competencies for public health, and they also want to know how public health professionals are accredited in different countries, and they want in all the European region for that to be more similar. So they are working on that, and as I say, our work in those aspects is to be kind of advisors. So they send us their documents and we tell them what we think about them, so that in that process we are just one of the stakeholders that they consult in order to create this work. And they also invite us, so we, as I said, we were last week, 3 of us were in the expert meeting that took place in London, in which they met to discuss all these things. So they always ask for our opinion. And we are looking on how to collaborate further. For example, in Valencia, Robert Otok, the director of ASFER, will come, and we will discuss what things we can collaborate further. But as I say, we have a very close connection, because one member of EURONET is in their executive board. So yes.
Thank you, Alberto. Is there any other question? And also, I want to say something about Young Forum in Austria, I think. I and my friend from our department have applied for scholarship. I hope in next months we will have such a conference webinar for this Young Forum, I hope.
Ah, that's interesting. Yes, many of us have been there and are part of that network. So we have also a strong relation with the Young Forum Gastein. And yeah, I hope that those who applied get the place. I think it will be communicated soon about the Young Forum Gastein. And if you want to know more about Young Forum Gastein as well, let me know, and I can. The thing is that now the applications are closed, but maybe it would be also be interested to have another presentation next year before the applications, when the applications are open. And if you also need any help with that, I can put you in contact with the coordinator of the Young Forum Gastein, because as I said, we have a strong relationship.
And also there is another question.
Yes. Okay, so I don't think that there is an organization like EURONET for specialists, but there are organizations for each field of public health. But for example, EUFA can be a similar thing to EURONET for specialists. So EUFA Next is for young professionals, for specialists, EUFA. So as I said, if you go to EUFA's website, they have sections on different topics. They have a section on nutrition, a section on maybe, I don't know, cardiovascular, a section on infectious diseases, mental health. So if you work, when you're a specialist, if you work on any of these areas, you can become part of this section, and you can work together with other professionals that are specialists there in that topic. So that's one of the things that come to my mind now. What others there may be, I don't know right now. I think UFAB is probably the biggest one. No problem.
Is there any other question? I think no more question. I think we can end this session. Do you want something to say, dear Alp Ergor?
Yes, thank you very much, Ferhat. Dear Alberto, I would like to thank you on behalf of our association's education and training team. It was really informative. We had 24 participants, and 3 among them were institutional. That means we reached almost 35 people. But I'm very sure about it that as soon as we upload this conference on our YouTube channel, many more people will be able to reach out and be able to learn more about EURONET MRPH. So I think we reached our goal, and I hope our residents touch with you guys in the future. Thank you very much indeed, and if you wouldn't mind, I will go into Turkish to say goodbye to my Turkish colleagues.
Of course. I mean, I just want to say that yes, thank you so much for inviting me and for organizing all of this, and I was very happy to be here and presenting this, and just again to let you know that I am available for anything. You have my email, so please let me know if you need anything. But thank you so much. Thank you.
Touch definitely to Ferhat and to the organization. Arkadaşlar, değerli dostlar, çok teşekkürler. Gerçekten verimli bir tanıtım olduğunu düşünüyorum. Öyle umarım kısa zamanda Ferhat üzerinden sizler de söyleyeceğim katılırsınız. Gerçekten çok yararlı olacaksınız. Görüyorsunuz, çok önemli bir şey söyledi Alberto. Asperger'de önemli bir akademik yapının içinde kurumsal isim burası İslamların çok önemli bir kazanım. Bunun için de önemli bir gösterge. HASUDER'in yapılanma süreci için önemli örnekler bunlar. Daha sonraki dönemlerde herhalde ASPER'in temel becerileri, yetkinlikler, halk sağlığı asistanlığı, halk sağlığı kullandığı için temel yetkinlikler vücudunu da Türkçeleştirmesi en kısa sürede sizlerle paylaşıyoruz. İsteyen zaten download edin. Sevgili Resulullah ve Sohbettirma ekibi Kayseri Hoca ile birlikte yayını Facebook'ta, YouTube kanalımıza yükleyecekler. Çok teşekkürler. Eksik olma, gerçekten kolay haklısınız sayende. Belki değiştirip yükleyebiliriz ayrıca arşive, ama bu haliyle zaten Alberto sağ olsun sonunda izleyebilir ve arkadaşlarımız da çekmeden izleyebilirler. Eğer webinar içeriği konusu içeriğiyle ilgili önerileriniz, bize yönelik eleştirileriniz, süreci daha iyi, daha verimli hale getirmemiz için yapmamızı istediğiniz varsa lütfen Taceddin Hoca ile, benimle, Melike Hoca ile, Ülke'yle, ya da Gönül Hanım'la ilişkiye geçip halkın kendi içimizde bir değerlendirme toplantısı yapacağız. Dediğim gibi Eylül'de büyük olasılıkla yeniden daha önce ama herhalde bir rehberliğin baskını çıkar. Sadece Hoca'yı ikna edebilirim. Eylül gibi tekrar birlikte olacağız. Çok çok teşekkür ediyorum her şey için. Taceddin, senin söyleyeceğin bir şey var mı? Taceddin, senin eklemek istediğin bir şey var mı?
Çok teşekkür ederim. Ben heyecanlandım. Halk Sağlığı adına, Türkiye'deki halk sağlığı araştırmalı görevleri adına heyecanlandım. Umarım en kısa sürede biz de bu ağa katılırız. Ve hani Avrupa ile, en azından Avrupa'da neler olup bitiyor, oradan daha çok haberdar oluruz diyorum. Thank you very much Alberto. Ve teşekkürler Ferhat, sana da. I hope we will join to this organization very soon.
Yes, I hope so too. Yes. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day. And hoşça kal.